Welcome back to Real Estate Team Builders. I'm your host, Lars Hedenborg, the founder of Real Estate B School. And this world of real estate teams and building businesses, it is dominated by these egocentric team leaders that care more about how many homes they sell versus the profits they earn. And this unsustainable model that's out there in the industry is something that I stand firmly against. And it is the reason why this podcast exists. And here is the mission statement of the podcast. I believe that if you want to profitably scale your real estate team without working crazy hours, enduring unhealthy levels of stress, or coming up short at home, then thinking like a business owner, building sustainable systems, and empowering your team are absolute must. So the premise of the podcast here is that we will not hype you up. We will not smoke and mirrors you. We will bring you the stuff that's working and bring folks on to the podcast that can share their journey to help you accelerate your journey and to achieve that business owner seat in your real estate, which might be a practice now, and to do it with less pain and suffering. So on the last podcast, we had Chris Craddock on, who serves the DC, Maryland, Virginia market, and he'll do 600 plus transactions this year. You must, I repeat, must digest that entire episode. And I took 2 pages of notes. So here I am interviewing Chris, and I'm taking notes as I'm doing the interview. So it was just chock full of gold nuggets throughout. I mean, he was pure fire on the podcast. I want to pick up on one specific point that he covered. He went into his 4 areas that he focuses on, that he calls his genius zone. And they were problem solving, pitching vision, strategic relationships, and creating energy. He's got 10 businesses and like 5 or 6 kids. He's got a wife. He is just a kicking butt in business, former youth pastor for a church turned like mega entrepreneur. And so I want to pick up on one thing that he covered and go deep on my experience with one of his genius zones, which is creating energy. And if you want to succeed at a high level in multiple areas of your life, so let's say chances are you're not going to be listening right now to this podcast if you're not looking to not only crush it in business, but you for sure want to show up at home, right? You want to be a great husband or wife, or a great parent to your children. You want to maybe take care of your physical body. Maybe your faith walk is important to you. Maybe you've got siblings or parents that you want to take care of, and maybe you want to have some fun, and maybe you want to have some hobbies, right? We have all these aspirations as entrepreneurs that we've chosen the real estate space to unleash our entrepreneurial insanity or ADD, whatever you want to call it. And it's impossible to do anything at a high level if you don't have routines and things you do to create energy. And the example that Chris gave in his interview was his morning routine. And so I want to share with you my morning routine, and then I also want to get into some areas of personal development that I think are really, really important that you must focus on if you want to build a sustainable business. And that's all we care about on Real Estate Team Builders. I could care less about the guy or girl selling 1,000 homes. If they're having to sell 150 homes themselves, they're working 80 hours a week, and it's not a real business, right? So be careful who you put on pedestals in our industry. So that said, my morning routine, and I highly recommend, I don't know anyone that's super successful that doesn't get 2 to 3 hours of structured time before they enter into their business. And so mine's a little bit different summer hours when kids are home versus when the kids are at school. So we're actually getting ready to go in school here. So I'll give you the what's coming next week. I get up early enough where I have a good hour and a half, so 90 minutes or so, where it's just me and my wife that are awake. So we let our kids sleep as late as possible so we can get that chunk of time in the morning where first thing we do is we hydrate. Your body, when you sleep, you are dehydrating for 7 to 8 hours, which is a for sure way to create energy, is to make sure you get enough sleep. But back to the morning routine. You've got to rehydrate the body. So we have amino acids that we take. We take this, it's kind of like a ketone drink that we do as well. We do vitamins, a vitamin regime, hydrate with regular water as well. Then we are listening to the Bible. We're doing the Bible in a year, and then we are studying the Bible. Then we're meditating using Abide app, IBIDE. It's a Christian meditation app. It is phenomenal. And then we're using the YouVersion Bible with the Bible recap. Tara Lee Cobble, her podcast, basically teaches you what you read that day in the Bible. So that takes about 45 minutes. Then we pray together. So that whole routine is about 45 minutes. The reading the word, studying the word, meditating on the word, and praying together takes about 45 minutes or so. Then we are, I'm trying to think of how it is when the kids are in school. Then we're looking to, then we've got a little bit of time before the kids get up. I take about an hour and I'm present in the family activity of getting to kids at the time of this recording. They're 11 and 13, and it takes a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of like, let's get this thing going to get them going. So I'm fully present in that. About 8 o'clock or so, they're leaving. And then I don't start work until 11 a.m. So I still have another 3 hours at this point. But at that point, I'm doing a cardio workout. Then we have a sauna in our home. So I do an infrared sauna. I sweat, I eat charcoal tabs. And I'm meditating while I'm in the sauna. So that's critically important, a meditation practice. If you're going to achieve at a high level, you need to be fully not scatterbrained. So you need to be really clear. Your mental rack space has to be wide open for you to be able to focus on the things that truly matter. So meditation practice every day. And then I'm either doing a weight workout or I'm doing a high intensity interval training workout after a little bit of a cool down period. And so that's after 7+ hours of sleep. And that's all day long. I'm doing my best to hydrate as much as possible. So that is whatever your morning routine is. It has to feed you. While I'm doing my cardio run, which is 3 miles every morning, I'm listening to a podcast or a book. You know, I'm very rarely listening to music. Lately, I have listened to music because I think I almost need to disconnect sometimes. I think I load my brain up too much with stuff. So the challenge for you, if you're not achieving at the levels you want in your business or in the areas of life that matter to you outside of your business, are you focusing a time block during the day where you're generating enough energy and momentum to be able to crush the day? Part of my morning routine also is my daily planning method. I can't believe I missed that one. So being real clear on the 3 most important things I need to do today. I have a gratitude practice that I work on as well. If it's the start of a week, I have a different weekly review practice. All of this is time blocked in my calendar. And you know the reason I know what to do every morning? I'll pull up my calendar here. My day starts with the most important hour is my study of the Bible and that sort of thing. And that can be different for you. It could be meditation or goal planning or, that sort of thing. And then the next time block in my calendar is workout. Then I do a morning startup and then it's at 10 o'clock. And I'll shift some of this with an hour of family time, but then I do my high intensity interval training or lifting physical weights. And so for me, I've got the benefit now of a Tuesday through Thursday work week, 11 to 5, where I work a little bit on Mondays and Fridays, but generally they're not by appointment. I've got flex time and content creation time, and I'm really hard charging and very much time blocked in my work from 11 to 5. Only super high off the charts dollar productive activities, typical one-to-many. Typically I do one-to-many activities like recording this, or I train in Real Estate B School, or I'm serving our EXP organization, which is getting close to about 600 folks. I'll hit 600 folks in my EXP organization here real soon. But none of that could happen if I didn't have this time where I build myself up. So that's the first part, is morning routine. And then Chris actually challenged everyone in terms of personal development. What are you doing on a regular basis in terms of personal development and personal leadership? And he called me out on one book that now I'm reading for the second time, is How to Win Friends and Influence People. He said, you need to just go read that 10 times. And therein lies most of your success in terms of your ability to impact and influence people in terms of collaboration, or maybe if you're in EXP, agent attraction, and or if you're working with buyers and sellers, your ability to influence and connect at a meaningful level. And so I thought that was awesome. You know, what 1 or 2 podcasts are you listening to? And are you doing something with the information that you take from those podcasts? The Audible app. I don't know what I would do without Audible. I would be lost without Audible. That's the app that you can listen to books, right? So I'll be transparent here and kind of let you know I'm in the midst of, I read a few books at a time. So I'm still in How to Win Friends and Influence People, Win the Day by Mark Batterson. And I just finished John Lee Dumas, The Common Path to Uncommon Success, which was awesome. And then I'm also listening to Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 by John Maxwell. And also Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. So I do bounce around. I'm a little bit ADD when I read books, but different days I'm in different moods. So that's why I have such a wide variety there. So the downside of having a focused morning routine and including intentional personal development time and being really intentional in general with your time and getting enough sleep. The downside is that you have some hard decisions to make about the things that you do that don't really add value to your stated goals. So if you say you want to build a massive real estate team, built it the right way and give you, leverage and more freedom. You want to be a great husband, a great dad. You want to honor your creator. You want to, take care of your physical body. Like you want to do all these things, yet I'm going to use me as an example, because when I use the guys in the sports example, it leads to a bad place, or, too much time on social media. So I have slipped a little bit into watching too much Netflix. It's hurting my connection with my spouse, and it's taking me away from doing other way more valuable things, like watching an hour of Netflix versus going for a walk or sitting on the back porch and just being and just existing and being still, and to stop striving. Granted, my rationalization for disconnecting or for Netflix is a little bit of disconnection. So a little bit is okay. But if you're watching 2, 3, 4 hours a night, or you're in like always on social media, or you're constantly watching the news, if you're like the 24-hour news cycle is something that you're checking in for multiple times a day, the chances that you succeed and generate enough energy to succeed and momentum to succeed in the areas of life that matter most to you go down considerably if you're just like in social media, in sports, in the news cycle, watching Netflix, and you're just constantly sort of, you're not really honoring your commitments. I tell our members at Real Estate B School, if I could follow top agents and team leaders around for 2 weeks, just give me 2 weeks. I want to literally follow you around for 2 weeks. We actually do 2-week time studies in Real Estate B School. But if I could just follow you around and I'll do the time study, I'll write down where you're spending your time, it would not be a good situation. It would be, most real estate agents, even some team leaders, are doing tasks that are not critically important. I'll reveal something I did today. If you're watching the YouTube version of this, I am looking for I probably spent a half hour today of unplanned, unblocked time looking for a better computer speaker option for my desk. I don't need it. I just want to have a clean looking desk. I obsess over my desk, and that just happens from time to time. I think it's more important to spend a half hour researching, the best, most sleek computer speakers than doing, a podcast episode or creating a tool or system that our coaching clients can benefit with, right? So we all squirrel out into these things that aren't as impactful as you want them to be. So that's my encouragement to all of you, is that this is a never ending battle of, there's so many things around us that will suck the energy out of us. And it's on us as business builders, right? You're here for real estate team builders, right? You are a business builder listening to this podcast, and you've got to protect and generate energy at a very high level. So that's all I've got for today. If you know someone who's struggling and they could benefit from what we do here on Real Estate Team Builders, just share this episode with them. Just share the episode. If you love the content, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you're at the point in your journey where you want to know what the journey looks like to build a sustainable, profitable, systems-driven real estate team, go to realestatebusinessgrowth.com, realestatebusinessgrowth.com. I detail step-by-step the 6 stages of growth to go from agent to full-on business owner in the real estate space. I go through things you should be looking for, mistakes to avoid, questions to ask yourself, what the team complexion looks like, the team structure looks like at each of those different stages, what tools and systems you'll be working on, the things you should be focusing on, how much money you'll make at each stage in the journey. And so go to realestatebusinessgrowth.com, grab a copy of that report, and we will see you soon. Be well, much love and respect.